Em entrevista exclusiva à CNN Brasil, a francesa Esther Duflo, que foi a economista vencedora do prêmio Nobel de 2019, comentou o cenário de incerteza geopolítica que o mundo enfrenta atualmente com a guerra. A economista está em São Paulo para participar do evento de celebração do Lehman Collaborative, uma iniciativa acadêmica internacional criada pela Fundação Lehman com a Universidade de Zurique.
There are many sources of uncertainty at the moment. We are living in very uncertain times. Of course, at the moment, there is oil price volatility due to the Iran war. But before that, there are sources of uncertainty and big changes that are maybe more structural and fundamental. One of them is what is going to be the impact of artificial intelligence that we don't fully understand, that creates a lot of uncertainty. Another is climate, and which we know will affect many countries negatively, but we don't know exactly how negatively, because we don't know how much carbon emission there will be. We don't know how bad they will be for the climate, so there is a lot of uncertainty there as well. We live in general in a highly uncertain world. And one thing that I will say is that the people who suffer the most from uncertainty are always the poor. So in this situation, governments are even more important than ever to kind of provide them with a minimum level of security, like the government did during the Iran war to protect people from the increase in oil prices.
A vencedora do Nobel também falou sobre a iniciativa conhecida como PIX do Clima, que propõe que países mais ricos paguem para um fundo para compensar as vítimas das mudanças climáticas, que normalmente estão nos países pobres.
So PIX do Clima is an idea we've developed with Abhijit Banerjee and Michael Greenstone, a policy proposal for the world, which is really trying to address the following injustice. One, the poor people in the world are the most affected by climate change. So for example, in Brazil, it's really in the northeast that people will suffer the most from climate change. And this is where all the poor people live, and less so in the south, which is where all the rich people live. So this is, and worldwide it is the same, in particular when we look about the number of people who are going to die due to extreme temperature caused by climate change. They are going to die in the northeast of Brazil, they are going to die in the Sahel region in Africa, they are going to die in the north of India and in Pakistan and in Bangladesh. Depending, if we continue on a trajectory of using a lot of fossil fuels, there could be up to 6 million extra deaths every year due to climate, and this will be mostly in poor countries. So that's the first part of the injustice. The second part of the injustice is poor people contribute almost nothing to climate change because they don't consume much. So to kind of address this injustice, we are proposing that rich countries, wealthy countries, compensate poor people for the loss, for the extra death that their fossil fuel emission will cause in the future. So each year, the OECD countries would pay money to a fund to compensate the victims of climate change. And this fund would largely go directly to people or to their community. So this is why it speaks to Clima, because it will come via PIX very directly. Either in African country where people are very poor, it will come every day, a little bit of money. In countries that are richer, it would come when it's very hot. So people would get compensated when it's very hot. So that is the idea. And then in exchange, poor countries would agree to take forceful action against climate change. So for example, in Brazil, protect the forest, and in India, use less coal, or something like that. So that's kind of the deal that we are proposing. On the one hand, the OECD countries, the rich countries, take ownership of paying for the damages that we are causing with our emission. And on the other hand, poor countries take ownership of preventing future climate change by choosing more planet-conscious choices. And all of that goes and help the poor people who are the most directly affected by climate change.